Hey, Sunflowers, and good evening. Thank you so much for being here tonight. As usual, I'm just giving everybody a few more minutes to be able to get in here and get settled in and everything. I hope you guys brought your note-taking apparatuses. I hope y'all brought stuff to take notes with because we got a few questions that we're going to be asking tonight. So, yeah. Tonight's topic, in my opinion, is a great one, and I can't wait to share it with you guys. Hey sis, I love you. Alrighty. Hey y'all. Hey Sunflowers, and welcome to another episode of BPD Squared Live. Let me know in the chat how you guys are doing this evening and how your week has been going so far. So, so we are continuing the theme of this month, which is change and reset. So, in learning how to create new goals for ourselves, which we did cover in last week's live, I'll make sure to pin that in the description box, the flower box below. In learning how to create new goals for ourselves, we also create new behaviors and patterns. So we're learning to accept what works, what doesn't work, and how to adjust to those changes accordingly. But before, actual change can happen, we must first change the way we perceive things. We must change the way we see things. In other words, we got to change our minds. So I'm sure I'm not the only one who grew up with, certain perceptions of how the world works according to, what we learned from our parents, what we learned from TV, music, school, church, etc., etc. Because for a lot of us, we go through life and we either are like, okay, this is it, this is life, this is what I know, and I'm sticking to that. And the other half of us, me, are looking at life with a giant question mark. So naturally, as we grow and we progress, we're realizing that not everything that we're taught or even influenced by is entirely true, or at least it may not be completely true to our circumstances. So a lot of us end up still going along with those things because that's, what we know. That's the mindset that we've adopted, grew up with, became familiar with, and that's what we understand. So tonight, sunflowers, we are going to discuss how to improve your mindset, how to improve and heal your mindset. Excuse me. So we will start tonight's discussion. We'll start tonight's discussion by describing what the mindset is and how it is formed. Then we'll talk about who and what influences your mindset. Then we'll conclude with how to heal your mindset from your past beliefs. So I know that there's still a few more people coming in, and that's awesome. That's cool. So while I do a little bit of some housekeeping, there is a question I want to ask you guys. Just kind of throw something out there in the chat. What is the best piece of advice you have received so far? So let me know in the chat. And if you are watching the replay, let me know in the comments. So for those of you who are, sorry, some in my eye, y'all. Anyway, eyelashes. For those of you who are new to this channel and new to my face, hey Sunflower, my name is Brenda, and welcome to BPD Squared, the channel where we discuss mental health from different perspectives. So BPD Squared is something that I started when I was first diagnosed with bipolar disorder and borderline personality disorder way back in 2019. So once I made this discovery, I immediately started to look for people who were like me, experiencing the same things I was experiencing, going through the same thing I was going through. In other words, I was looking for a community. And unfortunately, I had a hard time finding one. And so when I couldn't find one, I created my own. So BPD Squared is a community and a mental health advocacy, but it is not a medical practice, nor do I do anything medically related. I don't know how to word that. So I must make it clear to everyone that, I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm not able to give any therapeutic, counseling, psychiatric, or diagnostic advice. But what I can and will do on this channel is provide a safe space for sharing experiences with each other, especially as it pertains to our mental health. I will share with you guys the lessons that I've learned along the way and the research that I have conducted, while also learning a bit from you guys as well. I love it when you guys comment on the videos and share your experiences and your stories, because one, it lets me know that, this is something that we all experience. And two, it lets me know we're not alone. If you or a loved one, however, is that happens to be currently suffering from a mental health crisis and you are in need of help of a medical professional, please refer to the resources here on the screen. There is a link in the flower box as well that will take you to this exact page on my website. There you will find various mental health resources, as you can see, are listed here, as well as you'll find a database to help you locate help in within your local area. And because this is a channel that discusses mental health topics, I want to make it, I want to issue, excuse me, a general trigger warning. So I do my best when I'm doing the lives with you guys to say, hey, we're about to get into something heavy. We're about to talk about something that might be uncomfortable, but I can't account for every person's trigger points. I don't know if anything that I particularly will say could cause anyone discomfort or harm or anything of that nature. So, with that being said, please watch this content at your own discretion. Again, I always try to, not try to, I put timestamps at the end of the live stream so that you guys know what's being discussed and when we're discussing it. Like, basically, this is a safe space. And I want you guys to feel that you can be in a space to learn something in a safe way. So, if anything that is discussed on this channel ever puts you in a form of discomfort where you feel like, okay, I need to click off, I need to take a break, please do. I would rather you protect your energy and yourself and your mental health rather than to risk it just because you want to give me a view and a like, which I appreciate greatly, but it is not worth your health for it. And finally, I want to conclude this housekeeping by saying thank you so much to my sunflowers who are subscribed. Look, when I was writing this script, I had 877 sunflowers. At right now, let me double check because it changed twice as I was trying to get this all together. Let's see here. So, from the time I started writing this script to now, we are at 885 sunflowers, and I am so grateful to you guys. We are so close to that 1,000 subscriber threshold that we are, running to cross. And honestly, I couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much for your support and your love and for showing up and appreciating what I have to share with you guys. I'm so glad you're here and I cannot wait to continue growing with you guys. All right. So we got all that out the way. Let's move on to tonight's topic, which is how to improve and heal your mindset. By the way, my sister said, make sure to sub, y'all. Listen to the lady. She knows she's talking about. Now, thank you, babe. All right, y'all. So before we can actually jump into changing our mindset, we must first understand and uncover what the mindset is. Now, on this channel, we like to go to the origins. We like to get to the root of what it is that we're discussing and covering because we don't want to be, just talking about something and not knowing what we're talking about, right? So, I strongly believe if you want to change something, you must first understand it. So I'm pulling from an article that I found on a website called createhealth.com. There is a link in the description box. Pretty much anything that I mentioned that's a quote or I'm pulling information from, I will have a link to it in the description so that you can either follow along or read for yourself. Every time I post something, it's a good article. It's definitely very much educational and just gives you more information than you thought you needed. So the article on Create Health defines mindset as a set of deeply held beliefs, attitudes, and assumptions that form habits of mind. Mindset can also function as a key aspect of what we consider our sense of self. How you see the world informs who you are. So this is basically our perception. which in my opinion is 50% of your mindset. The other 50 being your intuition, which we'll get to that later. But perception is a way of regarding, understanding, or interpreting something. So it's a mental impression of the things you have witnessed and you have experienced. The article goes on to say that mindset is formed from our thoughts and the emotions connected to those thoughts. So, for example, from our experiences, we make distinctions or thoughts. If these experiences are repeated enough, the distinctions become truth. These truths then join to form the mindset. So there are three categories that the mindset falls under. Whoops. And that is the fixed mindset, the growth mindset, and the benefit mindset. Now, this information that I'm about to give you guys comes from the Medium, which is another website that I researched this topic on. So this quote from Carol Dweck gives her interpretation of what the fixed mindset is. In a fixed mindset, people believe their basic abilities, intelligence, talents, they're all fixed traits. They have a certain amount and that's that. And then their goal becomes to look smart all the time and to never look dumb. So in other words, these individuals seek perfection. They do their best to avoid failure. They focus on what they know and do only what is necessary to do what they know. So, example, I grew up in a musical family. Everybody in my family can either sing, dance, play an instrument, they can draw, or something of that nature. I can sing, dance, and play an instrument. However, singing is my strongest attribute. So growing up, I was, led to believe, okay, this is my purpose. This is what I was meant to do. I'm going to be a singer. I'm going to be the next little Whitney Houston because that's what I knew best. And that's what I was best at. And, even though that was a great dream when I was 8, once I started growing up and started to see more of the world and started to perceive things differently, my mindset started to change. And I realized, okay, I want to explore more. I want to do more with my life. And this is when I started to step into the growth mindset. So the growth mindset refers to those who believe that there is more to life than what we already know. They are open to learning and developing new skills. They focus on improving what they know. And again, Carol Dweck, she gives a explanation and says basically everyone can get smarter if they work at it. So for me, the growth mindset kicked in when I wanted to explore the other options. Like I was saying earlier, I wanted to do more than just play piano and sing. I was starting to lose interest in that because it was kind of forced on me, and I wanted to explore other options. I mean, when I was in school, I wanted to play tennis, I wanted to play volleyball, I actually wanted to be in sports. And to be honest, it surprises people that I wasn't a theater kid, and I know I should have been a theater kid, but I didn't act on a lot of those things because one, I didn't really know how to go about doing those things, and two, I was told I couldn't do it, and I believed them. So I didn't really start to open my mind to those possibilities or even looking into the alternative ways of doing stuff until I left college and started started working in the workforce. And like I said, the exposure and doing a lot more kind of put me in the mindset that, I still want to do more with my life. I don't just want to go to work and punch a clock. I want to actually do something I care about. Now, I've always had a love for animals and I've always wanted to work with them. But my fixed mindset made me believe, okay, In order to work with animals, I have to go to school for 4 to 5 years, and I have to be degreed and licensed, and I have to, become basically a veterinarian, because that was the only thing that I was aware of. All I knew is that I had to be a veterinarian in order to do this thing. And the other intrusive thoughts were coming in, talking about, well, you don't really like going to school anyway. You're not good at school. You're not good at math. And you got to be good at math and science to be able to be a veterinarian, because that's basically science. And all these things were in my mind telling me, just basically talking myself out of things I was interested in. And so I had a conversation with my stepmother, and I had mentioned this to her and was basically like, I want to do more. And she had a little dog at the time, a Missy Muffin. And she, she saw how I was with her and everything. And, we just got to talking about, me working with animals. And she mentioned to me, have you ever considered looking into a position as a kennel tech? Now, I had no idea what that was. I had never heard of that before, but that pretty much changed everything for me from that day on, because now I wasn't looking at it from this one particular lens. It let me kind of see that there's an alternative way to still get what I want and still, do something that I care about. So we'll dive into that a little bit deeper, but we're going to move on to the final part, which is the benefit mindset. Now, the benefit mindset, the people that hold this mindset are those that seek the why behind what they do. So not only are they doing it for their growth and their gain and to, learn and explore, but they're also doing it with the intention to make the world better as they're doing it. They develop their strengths while meaningfully contributing to the greater cause, whatever that may be. So in my situation, I created this channel to better myself by expressing what I learned about my diagnosis and the person that I am after being diagnosed. But with that, I saw the connection that I was making with more and more people who were dealing with mental and physical illnesses, and the relationships that with people who had these things and they were suffering from, and how it's was opening people to feel more comfortable to talk about what they were experiencing, and seeing someone that was going through what they were going through made it better for them. So with that in mind, in learning about myself, I ended up helping others learn about themselves, which I'm so grateful for. I love this. I love doing this. So to basically sum that up, those are the 3 types of the mindset. So again, for a quick summary, go back. For a quick summary, we're going to use what the Medium used on their website, which was a grocery shopping analogy. So if you always go to the grocery store and you buy meat, bread, and potatoes, and you don't buy anything else, you never deviate away from that grocery list, then essentially you are working in a fixed mindset. And these are people that are like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, you can still go to the store, still buy meat, bread, and potatoes, but then today you might decide, I want to add tomatoes to this. I want to add tomatoes to my recipe. So that is considered your growth mindset, because now you're expanding on what you know and adding something new to it. And finally, if you go to the store and you still get this, you get the same recipe, but you get more sustainable organic products, and you're bringing your own bags, so you're not having to purchase plastic and, the whole spiel, then that is considered the benefit mindset, because now you're thinking of how you're not only bettering yourself, but you're thinking environmentally and consciously. So sunflowers, we're going to move on to the next thing. Oops, y'all not supposed to see that yet. So now that we have covered what the mindset is, and of course, if y'all have anything, y'all want to throw in the chat, um, hey girl, it is what it is. Anything y'all want to throw in the chat, just say hey, or questions, concerns, whatever, let me know. The chat is open. So now that we've covered what the mindset is, let's talk about the factors that influence the mindset and influence how the mindset is formed. So that might be loud. I was having a conversation with someone a little while ago, and they were telling me, they were kind of disappointed in the fact that their parents didn't teach them how to manage their money well. Specifically, they were trying to figure out why they didn't teach them how to build their credit. And so I was like, okay, do your parents have good credit? To which they then replied, no. To which I then responded, okay, so how can they teach you about something that they don't have knowledge of themselves? So I have no idea how to build a house. But if you come to me and ask me how to build a house, you'll probably get a bunch of sticks, because that is the extent of my house building knowledge. The point is, if you want to change the mindset, you must first change how you're receiving information, what information you're receiving, and who your information is coming from as well. So when it's coming to people that you're gathering advice from, take notice or pay attention to where these people are in their lives. And I don't say this as to bash anyone or to put anyone down. That's definitely not where I'm coming from. But it's a matter of, if you see that people are doing the same things that they've been doing the whole time, they're not progressing, they're not, they're still holding the same ideals, the same mindset. In other words, if you're not seeing that their life has changed for the better in some way, is it then the best idea to continue to try to get advice from someone, especially as it pertains to your growth, if they're not currently growing? So I'm pretty sure y'all have walked up on somebody at some point and you look at them, you like, you still here? They still there. Let me take a quick second to say, what up, family? Thank you so much for showing up. I love you much. I love you much. I put y'all sunflowers in the chat. Put your sunflowers in the chat. And sis say, it's like if I ask you to make me coffee and the person doesn't know how to make coffee, then how can they give you a coffee? I mean, yeah, it's just that simple. It's like you're asking people to give you information in which they don't have prior knowledge of. So I can't explain quantum physics to you because I don't know what quantum physics is. So therefore, don't come to me and ask. This person right here, though, they may know how to explain quantum physics. Anyway, and yes, put your sunflowers in the chat, y'all. If y'all are here, y'all showed up. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all for that. But yeah, so going back to our point here, I want you guys to also take notice of the content that you consume every day. And again, I'm not bashing nobody or how they make their money. I'm not bashing anybody on how they make their content. But if every day, all day long, you hearing, I'm a bad bitch, and, men are trash, and you can't trust these people, and the government is trying to kill us, and all this other stuff, if that's what's permeating your mind every single day, what do you think your mind is going to shape to? So y'all already know. Hold on, let me move this out the way a little bit. This one right back here. Where he at? Oh, finger work. There, right there. That one right there. basically was talking about this same thing and how it comes to song. So paraphrasing from something Michael said, which was, when we listen to songs, the parts that repeat, so your hooks, your choruses, stuff like that, those things, after a while, the more you hear it, the more you repeat it, it becomes a mantra. And the more it becomes a mantra, the mantra is then the chant, and the chant ends up becoming a frequency. So the more you're repeating that frequency, the more it starts to permeate your system. It is proven, scientifically proven, that if what you internalize, if you're really internalizing it and ingesting it in a way that you start to develop, it starts to embed itself, is what I'm trying to say. Excuse me. It starts to embed itself into your molecular structure. So again, you got to be careful with the things that you're ingesting and consuming and internalizing, because those things end up showing up in your system in different ways. And they also have a lot to influence how you start to perceive the world around you. Exactly. All right. So while I take a quick second, I want you guys to remember I said I want y'all to take out some pen, take a pen out, take some paper out, or take your phones out, take your notes. And I want you to write these questions down, to ask yourself for later. Are the people I rely on for advice progressing in their life? And also, how do the things I consume every day make me feel? Y'all give me just a second. I'm gonna grab some water, and I'm gonna give y'all a chance to write that down. Be right back. All right. Thank you so much. Got my water. I am rehydrated. All right. Now we can move on. Okay. So far we've covered what the mindset is, which is the combination of our thoughts, beliefs, talents, and experiences put into practice. We've also covered the three types of mindsets, which are the fixed mindset, the growth mindset, and the benefit mindset. Then we discussed who and what you should let influence your mindset. So we'll conclude tonight's live with how to heal that mindset. So just in case, let me find it. Just in case, I'm going to issue a trigger warning right here, because I might say something that might make somebody feel a certain way, and it's not intending to hurt you or anything like that. Just, yeah, y'all already know. Anyway, oh, you're so sweet. My day was great. Before we get into this heavy topic, my day was great. I spent some time with the most wonderful people I've ever met in my life. And we just got we talking, having some friendly conversations, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, today was good. Today was really good. Pretty chill. Pretty chill. Thank you for asking, my love. How tell me in the chat, how was your day? How you've been feeling? And I'll call you later. So all right, let's get into this thing so we can end this live. And yes, I'm trying to keep myself to a schedule of 45 minutes or less. I really don't want to go more than an hour with you guys. So hopefully this is this is pretty good. This works for you guys. I'm glad to hear it, Pooh. I'm glad you are. So, this part is mostly for those of us who have a fixed mindset. Now, y'all, when I say that, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing if you have a fixed mindset. If you have a certain way that you operate, that's cool. If you move through life and you're like, things are perfect just the way they are, I don't have to fix nothing, I don't have to change nothing, I like how life is, perfect. That is great for you. Keep doing what you do. If it works, it works. I can't take that from you. But if you have been kind of considering wanting to expand yourself and do something a little more different, then you have to ask yourself, what's the holdback? So what is stopping you from doing what you actually want to do? And again, like I said, it's not to say that this mindset is bad. It's just limited. So some may say, their reasoning behind not moving past that point and wanting to explore more. They might say, well, I don't have the money right now. I don't have the time right now. I don't have the strength right now. I don't have the body right now. I don't have the patience. I don't have the knowledge. All the excuses that we've all used before, we use to try to justify why we should stay where we are, even though we want more. And as I mentioned earlier, when I started working with animals, that taught me how to search for what I could do within what I wanted to do. So like I said before, it showed me how to search for the alternative, how to still get what I wanted within the realm of what made sense for me and what worked for me at the time. So your mindset, as we said before, is 50% how you interpret the problem, which is your perception, and 50% how you go about solving it, which is the intention. So say that you want to go on a vacation. You're thinking about going to the Bahamas. Your mindset, your fixed mindset is like, I know that the only way I can get to Bahamas is by airplane. But you also consider the fact that once you land, you got to figure out what hotel you're going to stay in. You got to figure out if you need to get a car to rent, not to mention that, you're going to pay for food. You're going to have to pay for other excursions that might catch your interest. You start calculating all these things up and you might end up discouraged because you figure out, okay, this is a lot more entailed than I thought, or this is going beyond what I know to do in order to make this work. So some people will just give up and say, you know what, I guess I can't afford to go. I guess. And there's Luke with his 2 cents. Where's Chelsea when I need her so she can come get her friend? Sir, come here. Say hi. All right, you done? Thank you. We're protected. Go lay down. Go lay down. Not right there. Anyway, sorry, y'all. He always got to chime in at some point. But anyway, so like I was saying, a lot of us, it's a pool, guys. So a lot of us, get to this point where we stay in that fixed mindset because it's pushing us to think of something differently. It's like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going, because if I can't do it this way, then I ain't doing it. And that's how some of us approach life. However, when you start to think about when you start to add in the alternatives though, so the growth mindset says, okay, if I can't take the airplane to go, if this particular method isn't going to work, what other ways can I make this still happen that might be better for my budget, better for my time, better just in general? So then you might start to look into cruise lines. You might start to look into, those travel groups that people form when they, trying to just get a bunch of people together so they can get discounts and stuff. You might look into stuff like that. You might even look into discounted amenities. So, basically stepping outside of the box and looking at what else can be done to make things a reality is where you transition yourself from I can't make this work to what else is there to make this work. All right. Now, Bree said hi, Luke. Bree said hi. So, I'm about to get a little deeper with you guys, and I'm gonna hurry through so I can wrap up. But a lot of us have the mindset that we have, and it's mainly because of how we see ourselves. Now, we've talked about how the mindset can be formed based on the things we're influenced by, the way that we were raised, the, environments that we were in, the experiences that we've had. But a lot of our mindsets we stay stuck because of what we believe of our own selves and in our own minds. Some of us really don't believe that we deserve to do better. Some of us are worried that, if I do this thing, how are my friends and family and other people going to look at me? If I make these choices, is that going to cause something terrible to happen in my life? Am I going to is this going to go against my personal or spiritual beliefs? And, with all of that, fear of change is a real thing. I want to acknowledge that for real. It's understood and it's a real thing. I mean, somebody once said to me that they had a hard time choosing something because they felt that God would punish them if they did. But I was like, how do you know by us having this conversation that God wasn't stepping in to say by this conversation, what you're wanting to do is okay? So again, if we're looking at ourselves as a lost cause, it's virtually impossible to become anything more. So basically, sunflowers, stop limiting yourself to what you think you know and be open to exploring what can make you grow. Bars. So I'll end with this. If you are familiar with the story of Jesus walking on water, cool. If you're not, story time. So the disciples are in the boat and they're trying to get from one side of the water, this body of water that they're on, than the other. I say body of water because I can't remember if it was just a large river or if it was actually an ocean. But they're trying to cross from one side of this body of water to the other. And this terrible storm rolls in and the waves are tossing and, the guys are getting scared because they feel like, oh, we're about to meet our doom. Like we out here, we about to die out here. And so suddenly Jesus appears and dude's walking on water. So he calls out to them and it's like, okay, don't be afraid. It's me. It's Jesus. And he tries to, get them to come to him on the water. Now, of course, he's telling them, come to me. He's standing in the middle of the water and everybody's looking at each other like, this man is crazy. This is crazy. Which, by the way, if you haven't seen The Chosen, I suggest you go watch it because it's an amazing series. And it cracks me up that these men have watched Jesus perform all these different miracles up to this point, and the fact that they still get surprised, it just baffles me and cracks me up. But anyway, I'll get back to the point. So the only person who ends up getting out of the boat is Simon Peter. So he walks towards Jesus and he's walking on the water. And he's, realizing, I'm actually walking on water. This is nuts. But eventually he starts to look down. He starts to see, oh, the water's coming up around my feet. Then the water's starting to rise to my calves. Now they're up to my thighs. And eventually it gets to a point where he's completely submerged in the water. So, of course, Jesus reaches down, pulls him out of the water, starts teasing him and calls him, oh, ye of little faith, And so when I first heard the story, that's the end of the story. So when I first heard that story, it made me think of how, when you really need help, it's always there for you if you ask for it. That's one of my first mindsets. But I heard this story told by Mary Morrissey, and the way that she told it, she came to a point, well, she pointed out, I should say, how some people might look at Simon as a failure. And they might look at him and say, he didn't really do much because he started to doubt, he got afraid, and he was sinking. If he was really doing it, he wouldn't have been sinking, right? Or if he really trusted this, or if he was really growing, he wouldn't have sunk. He wouldn't have had any doubts. But she points out, what most people aren't considering is the fact that there's still 11 people on that boat. I want y'all to think about that. So the boat is the fixed mindset. Simon walking on the water is the growth. And Jesus walking on the water and encouraging the others to do the same and then helping them along is the benefit. So, one final question for you guys. I want you to tell me in the comments, or in the chat or in the comments below, if there were no restrictions in your life, what would you be doing right now? I'll put this over here so that I can say thank you for joining me tonight, Sunflowers. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate every single one of you. As you've been seeing all night, my socials are scrolling across the bottom there. So please make sure to follow and reach out. Definitely make sure, if you are on Facebook, that you join the Facebook group, because we share, inspiration, motivation, memes, goofy stuff. We try to do our best to have a good time in there. So yeah, and we're always looking for more sunflowers to grow the garden. So if you have a Facebook and you would like to join a place that's, open and understanding and loving, definitely do that. And if you enjoyed tonight's stream, make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe, and that you stay tuned so that you can join us for the next live stream, and that you don't miss any other content that I may be posting. So finally, thank you to all sunflowers, all 885 sunflowers. And thank you for the sunflowers who are on their way. So as always, guys, again, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I love you guys so much. Stay square. I'll see you in the next one. Love you. Bye. Mwah.